Welcome back to the show that digs into the gritty side of the car world. The show where you see the good, the bad, the ugly in the industry, and we test your knowledge. Let's get into this week's madness. The worst job of the week. Every workshop has one, that one job that fights you every single step of the way. And this week's pain in the spanners is not necessarily a bad job, maybe a long job, but the part supply issues has turned this into an absolute nightmare. This M6 is in with us for a full prevention package. Basically anything that could go wrong on this car at this age, all the common issues are gone and in some cases improved. I'll give you a little list. Injectors, Vanos lines, rod bearings, engine mounts, water pump and thermostat, belts, service items, you get the idea. First, the issues started when we ordered £5,000 worth of parts to be told that a lot of the parts were on back order and some of them there was no ETA on when they were going to turn up. And we only realised this after checking through the boxes that BMW had already sent us, and then we rang them up and said, well, where are all of our parts? And it turns out that some of them are on back order, some of them they don't even know when they're going to be getting them in. Which isn't great, but we cracked on with it anyway. We managed to find some other solutions for that. The first issue started when we were working on the car. We went to replace the water pump. The water pump was completely smashed to bits. And guess what? 7 to 10 day back order. We also had many small seals, bolts to replace that they sent the incorrect amount for, and the normal extra C's parts that you'd normally get on working on a car that's this sort of age anyway. So there was a few extra things that we had to replace, which we were expecting anyway. Unfortunately, supply chain issues with parts is a daily problem in this industry, whether it's parts turning up wrong, damaged, or just not turning up at all. And it's something that all garages have to deal with and just accept and work around. But forget about all that, let's just take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this M6. Time to test your car IQ. True or false? In 2018, BMW revised the design of the crank-up on the S55 powered M3 and M4s, making it much stronger and less likely to slip. Pause the video now and play along. Drop your guess in the comments. Is that true or is it false? This is false. In fact, the opposite is true. We see more crank-up failures on 2019 onwards OPF cars than any other M3, M4. So unfortunately that is false. The 2019 onwards cars are more likely to slip, not less likely. Now it's time to guess that car part. We're going to show you a car part of something that we fitted this week, and it's your job to guess what it is. If you want to play along, pause the video now, and again, give us your best guess before the answer is revealed. Fun fact of the week. Fun fact of the week. The BMW M5 Touring, the E61 model, is the only production wagon ever made with the V10 engine. The same S85 V10 that we've been working on this week. BMW dropped the legendary S85 V10 from the E60 M5 and the M6 into the M5 estate, making the E61 M5 touring an absolute unicorn. It did 0 to 60 in around 4.5 seconds, and it sounded like an F1 car. And it still had room in the back for a dog and your toolbox. It was never sold in the US, and only around 1,000 were made. So if you see one, appreciate the madness. Now it's time for our favourite part of the show, the part where we show you our favourite car of the week. Now this one is a little bit different. As you know, here at Fast Road we are used to dealing with high-end cars, but we have recently signed up to a race that is on a motocross track at Mudbillys. We'll share the link so that you can get yourself signed up and come and watch us there. But we needed a car to do it in. Now, the race that we're competing in is called the VANPRIX. So you can kind of get an idea of what sort of car we're going to need for that. The specifications were a family MPV 7-seater, and we added our own specifications on. It needed to be higher than a 3 litre, it needed to be petrol and able to be screaming and making lots of noise, lots of pops and bangs. And also it would be ideal if it was American, seeing as the VANPRIX started in America. So without further ado, let's introduce you to our car of the week this week. This is our Chrysler Grand Voyager, a 7-seat people carrier with the aerodynamic grace of a shoebox and the heritage of a muscle car. Under the bonnet, a 3.3 naturally aspirated V6 that when new made over 170 horsepower. We didn't want a diesel or a tiny 4-pot, we've got a proper meaty V6 in this minivan. 0 to 60, just about fast enough to scare your nan, but it's not the number that matters, it's the feeling. This thing moves, it's got torque, it's got presence, and most importantly, it's got surprise, because no one expects this barge to actually go. It wasn't built for the type of racing that we're going to be doing in it, but neither were Crocs, and people are still running marathons in those. The Chrysler Grand Voyager 3.3 V6, once the king of the cul-de-sac, now the unkillable underdog of the swamp. We're going to be modifying this car to race off-road next month, and once we're at the race, we're not stopping until something breaks or it catches fire. Head over to Mudbillys socials and grab your tickets for the race if you want to see Fast Road's minivan muscle car tearing up the dirt. That's your weekly fix of grease, games and gearhead gold. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We've got loads more to come in the following weeks. We'll see you next time.